Welcome to Childcare Business Marketing Made Easy. I am going to share with you how you can serve those you've been called to serve without spending thousands of dollars hiring agencies, printing flyers, or feeling as though you constantly need to be on social media in order to fully book your program. You ready? Let's do this. Hey there, friend. Welcome back to another episode. So today we're going to be focusing on comparing yourself, your business, your program with other childcare business owners in the area. And I want to share my experience of comparing my business back in the day when I first started my childcare center. So for those of you that are brand new here, my name is Christina Rizakos. I help childcare business owners from all over the world up-level their marketing by teaching them marketing strategies that can fully book their program, that can help them stand out from local competitors. And in today's episode, I want to focus on comparison and how real it is for most people, okay? So when I first started my childcare business back in the day, I was only 24 years old. I was real young. I had no idea what I was doing, honestly, but I knew that I had this calling to work with young children. And once I figured out that I was real good working with kids and that I loved it, I ventured off and I started my own childcare center. Now, only 24 years old at the time, I opened my childcare business with my sister, who was a social worker. I was an early childhood educator by trade. She was a social worker. And together we thought of, this amazing program that we could put together to serve our local community. And we were so excited. We were so excited putting up our signs and, coming up with our curriculum and our policy handbooks and all the things that, you do when you're starting your business. Now, the thing that I didn't realize was how hard it would be to get people through the door, to make sure that my program was fully booked. And it took us years before we figured out how to stay fully booked every single season of our business. Yes, I said years. And it was really, really difficult. I remember times where we just felt like quitting, like we felt like giving up. My sister actually had ideas of telling me that she did not want to do this anymore with me, and she was ready just to venture off and get a job somewhere and just did not want to deal with the daycare anymore. And I remember it was really, really difficult. When you've poured money and energy and everything that you've poured it into a business. You've rented a center, you've painted the walls, and you're working with the kids and you're doing everything. And you feel that you're right there, and you feel that all this hard work that you've invested might go down the drain if you don't get your numbers up. That it's kind of scary. And I remember feeling that a lot of times, like a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, especially at the beginning. Again, as a new childcare business owner, I had no idea about marketing and anything that had to do with business. All I knew was that I was good with kids, and I thought that would be enough. Obviously that wasn't, and we figured out our marketing and everything was good after that. But I remember the comparison game. I remember driving by other childcare businesses in the area that were beautiful to look at. And I remember we would drive around in the weekend to do our grocery shopping with my husband, and I remember just looking at these daycares thinking, wow, like no wonder I'm struggling with my business. Look at this daycare center. Look at the toys. Look at the paint outside of the building. Look at their fence, how cute it looks. And I remember feeling so down, as though what I had put together, what I had dreamed about putting together and offering wasn't good enough. It wasn't valuable enough. I remember feeling that no wonder no one wants to come in my daycare when they can come in this daycare, right? And it was hard. It was really, really hard. And I remember that, I wasn't the only one. I remember my business partner, my sister, would feel the same way. We would dream about, the toys that we would buy or the staff that we would hire if we had money or if enrollments were high. And I remember feeling that we really thought it was never going to get to that point for us. But we still showed up every day. We did the work. She would travel by bus and metro an hour and a half to come and to go every single day, because we knew that even though things were hard, there was just something that we couldn't explain that kept us coming back every single day. And my point here with this episode is to share one specific thing that a more experienced childcare business owner shared with me that changed everything. So I remember visiting one of my friends that was running a childcare center in a school. And we were friends. My husband and him were friends, and we showed up in the weekend, I remember, to give him something. There was something my husband had to give him, and he said, well, you guys want to come in the daycare and see it? And obviously, you know, anyone knows that when you're a childcare business owner and you're in this field, you want to see what they're doing, what their centers look like. So he had the keys, obviously. He opened the door. No one was in there because it was the weekend. And as soon as he opened up the lights and I saw the classrooms and the setup and the layout of the cubby area and the office, I was in love. And I remember I said it out loud. I was like, wow, this daycare is gorgeous. I don't think that my daycare is ever going to look like this. And then he quickly looked at me and he said, Christina, you're comparing 25 years of business to your first 6 months in business? It took us 25 years to get the daycare to look like this. It took us 25 years to get the centers, the learning centers looking like this. It took us 25 years to get the cubbies to look like this. You're just starting out. Give yourself a break. And that changed everything for me. It changed everything for me. It put everything in perspective, because there he was running this business for so many years, and even though everything looked amazing, he still had that humility inside him to kind of ground me and give me the perspective that I needed at that point to really draw that line in the sand and take over my business as a business owner instead of as an employee that loved working with kids. And once he did that, I remember going into work on that following Monday, and just researching and putting things in place and making sure that, yes, I was showing up as a great educator, because at that point we couldn't afford staff, so I was working in the classroom. But I also knew that I had to put in some time learning about marketing and websites and how to reach more people locally so that I can fully book my daycare, so then I can hire staff. And I could run the business that I had always envisioned, and the business that I knew I was able and capable of running. And that's when things took off for me. So if you are listening to me right now and you have either a dream of starting your own childcare business, whether it's a small home daycare, whether it's a bigger center, maybe you have a new idea and you know that maybe it's a virtual preschool or extracurricular activities, or just something that you want to put together that is going to focus on serving local families, I want you to understand that comparing your first year of business to someone else's year 20 is unrealistic. It's unreasonable. It just doesn't make any sense. And I needed him to point that out to me at that moment in time to snap out of that comparison mode that I was in. I was stuck in this comparison. Poor me, look at my daycare. It looks dirty, it looks nasty, it looks this, it looks that. I was stuck in that kind of funk for such a long time that when I took a step back and I looked at all the amazing things that we were offering and how we led the kids, the families, but eventually our team with love and integrity, I knew that no one else was doing what we were doing. I knew that no one else had this amazing staff working for them. I knew without a shadow of a doubt that this was my calling in life, and what I had to offer and the services that we offered were so unique to us because we were the ones doing it. No one is going to serve your community the way you can. No one is going to teach the kids the way you can. No one is going to lead your team the way you can. So stop comparing yourself, stop comparing your business, your numbers, your enrollments to daycares that have been in business for a long time. What you need to do is stop that noise. Get off of social media. Stop driving around looking for daycares and comparing your daycare to theirs, and start focusing on the things that you offer, and focus on things that you can make better. Focus on your team, pour into them, focus on your clients, the kids in your care, and make sure that every time they step foot in your childcare business, that it feels like a second home to them and their families. And I promise you, once you do that, then the comparison game and comparison syndrome is going to leave your body, because at that moment you're going to feel that you're exactly where you were called to be, and you're just going to focus on doing more of that. So I hope that this episode blessed you. I hope that it blessed you and your business. And make sure you check out some useful links that I added in the show notes. See you guys next week. If you found value out of this episode, please let me know. Hop on over to wherever you're listening to this podcast from and leave me a review. Make sure you visit my website, childcarebusinessmarketing.com, to book a free marketing strategy call so that I can show you how you can fully book your childcare business. Thanks so much for listening. See you in a few days.